And we begin with some bad news. 3 Americans among those killed in an attack on a synagogue in Jerusalem, the bloodiest attack in years in a city already on edge. Good morning to you. I'm John Scott.
And I'm Shannon Bream in for Jenna Lee. Israel's prime minister condemning what he called the cruel murder of Jews who came to pray and threatening to respond harshly.
2 Palestinian cousins stormed the synagogue during morning prayers armed with meat cleavers and a gun. They killed 4 people praying inside before police shot them dead. Connor Powell, live in Jerusalem. He has the latest on this. Connor?
Well, John, Jerusalem is no stranger to violence, but even by recent standards, today was a particularly brutal attack. And as you said, 3 Americans were killed. Another individual from Britain was also killed, and the violence showing no signs of letting up. As Jewish worshippers in Jerusalem gathered for morning prayers, the growing violence between Israelis and Palestinians arrived at the doorstep of the Har Nof synagogue. According to both Israeli police and eyewitnesses, 2 men armed with axes, knives, and pistols stormed the synagogue early this morning. They began stabbing and shooting people just as they were beginning to pray. Most were able to escape, but the attackers started to slash and shoot. At least 4 people were killed. Several others were wounded in the attack.
They stabbed people once and twice or 3 times to make sure that they did the job. Very bad, very bad.
Israeli officials say the 2 attackers were Palestinians in their 20s from East Jerusalem. Clashes between police and protesters erupted in their neighborhood soon after. Today's violence is just the latest in a series of attacks that have some fearing an outbreak of widespread violence not seen here in a decade. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel will respond harshly to these terror attacks, and he is blaming Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas for inciting the violence. The problem here is that security officials say that these appear to be individual attacks and individually planned, and that they aren't linked. And their security officials here in Israel actually disagree with the Prime Minister about whether or not the Palestinians are inciting the violence. The larger issue is how to make it stop. Today, Prime Minister Netanyahu has ordered that the homes of the attackers be demolished. Whether or not that will prevent future attackers, it isn't clear. But what we do know, John, is that the tension here in Jerusalem continues to escalate.
And the White House is just out with a statement from President Obama strongly condemning the attack, as you would imagine. Connor Powell reporting live from Jerusalem. Connor, thank you.